Hey guys, Psychic Pictures here, and welcome to Sakura Angels. I actually kind of forgot to do that. Return, and let's start the game. This is a visual novel, so I'm gonna tackle it the way I did with episodes 11 onward for Clannad. Every night, I had the same dream. Every night, I'm always brought back to this place, without fail. And then every morning, I'll wake up with no memory of this place at all, until the next time I fall asleep. Not a single night has went by without my consciousness being dragged into this abyss. This realm is devoid of light, so much so that I can't even see my hand in front of my face, no matter how desperately I wave it. The concept of sound is just as absent, my steps silent, and my distressed cries swallowed by the bordering darkness as quickly as they have left my mouth. I'm in a bleak, barren wasteland of nothingness. Spreading in any prolonged amount of time here begins to make me doubt even my own existence. Yet, despite feeling suffocated by a striking absence of nothing, I know I'm not alone. Something is watching me, stalking me from the shadows. I can't say for sure what it is, but every once in a while, I'll catch sight of something from the corner of my view. A pair of burning, bright eyes fixated purely on me. They hate me, despise me. There's an overwhelming sense of animosity radiating from whoever they belong to. I know they want nothing more than to lash out and attack me, but something is holding them back. A force they truly despise. Invisible chains that bind and restrict them from the one thing that is on their mind. At first, when I begin dreaming about this place, the eyes were distant, like glimmering stars. But with each passing night, the eyes seem to inch even closer and shine ever brighter. I think whatever force is holding them back from me is beginning to fade. What will happen when these eyes reach me? I shudder to think. I know it's just a dream, so I shouldn't be afraid, but everything I experience here is so vivid. None of the usual murky haze that shrouds such dreamlike environments seem to exist here at all. I have perfect clarity. I can feel the stagnant, freezing air all around me, enough to incite a shiver out of me every once in a while. Since I'm used to this dream, I know how it'll end. I'll wade through the darkness for what seems like an eternity, never find anything, until the morning finally comes and pulls me out of this nightmare. At least, that was how it usually ended. Something is different tonight. Those hateful burning eyes that always kept just out of sight before, I'm suddenly confronted by them. Never before have they been so close. Never before have I stared straight into them. Their narrowed, piercing gaze roots me to the spot, and a shooting pain surges through me. I can't move. I can't breathe. And then, from out of the darkness, a crooked smile spreads, just as sinister as the eyes.
もうすぐ自由を味わうことができる。残りの平穏を楽しめ、少年。君の命はもうわずかだ。そして、すべてが変わる。
My head is killing me. These morning migraines are the worst. Every morning without fail, I always wake up to a sensation of not unlike my skull being pounded by a jackhammer. Thump, thump, thump. It's almost like a heartbeat. I can feel like my head is about going to split open. It's weird though, because even though the pain is so intense, it never lasts long. In the space it takes me to get up and head for school, the pain is usually reduced to just a dull throb at the back of my skull by then. So it isn't too much of a hassle in the grand scheme of things. But it certainly isn't a fun way to wake up. I just find it odd how consistent it seems to be. Anyway, enough pondering these weird mysteries. It's time to tackle the day. After a moment of wrestling with my blanket, I swing my legs around and drag myself out of bed. A quick look at my bedside clock tells me it's still early. Too early. If I had my way, the world wouldn't start until at least a good way into the afternoon. But sadly, life just isn't that wonderful. Pulling back the curtains to let the light flood into my room, I suppressed the urge to let out a hiss, almost blinding myself in the process. Too bright. The rest of my time getting ready is spent fighting with my uniform, a tie becoming all the more problematic to put on when you're half asleep. Oh God, I think I've actually got my hand stuck in it. Almost choking myself to death in the most pathetic fight ever. I finished putting on my tie, and the rest of my uniform complying peacefully with me. Unable to find a comb, I settled for just flattening my hair down with my hands. Blinking into the mirror, I left staring back at someone with messy black hair. It's close enough. Somewhat dressed, somewhat ready, I stumble out of my room, my legs still not fully awake. Uneven steps carry me dangerously down the stairs and soon emerged into the kitchen. I'm greeted by silence. The kitchen is empty. A familiar scene for me. My parents are what you might call workaholics. Basically, they spend more time at their respective jobs than they ever do here. I only ever get to catch them during the evening while they're eating, and then everyone is off to bed and the cycle repeats. Don't get me wrong, I understand they have to work in order to keep us living comfortably, so I don't hate them for that. It just gets, I don't know, lonely? Ah well, there's no more use in moping about it. It's been like this for years, so I don't know why I was getting all emotional about it now. The plus side of them not being around is that I quickly had to learn how to cook for myself. It's amazing how fast you can adapt to that sort of stuff when you're starving. I don't think I have enough time for anything fancy to eat for breakfast, so I'll just settle for toast. You can never go wrong with toast. Okay, you might be able to go wrong with toast. That's actually pretty funny. I have sudden traumatic flashbacks to when the toaster erupted into flames. Oh gosh! What a day that was. But I've learned from my mistakes now. It won't happen a second or third time. Having devoured the only slightly charred toast, I sling my backpack over my shoulder before starting to the front door. I give the empty house one last look over before opening the front door. It's kind of depressing to have no one say goodbye to you. But again, this has been the same for every weekday morning since forever ago. The sun is shining high in the cloudless sky. Birds are chirping overhead, waves of students are passing by, happily chatting with one another as they all make their way to school. It's also horrible. I'm not much of a morning person, so I can't even begin to fathom how everyone can be so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now. I mean, it's taking all of my willpower just to be able to put a foot in front of the other without just crumbling on the ground to the ground. I just have to hope the breakfast kicks in and gives me the energy I need before I'm forced to literally drag myself through the school gates. While keeping my head down, my eyes glued to the ground as I soldiered on, I suddenly noticed what the vibrant atmosphere from before has gone. Silence has completely taken over. My steps are the only thing making any noise. The air is still. Huh? That's a bit strange. Bringing my head up, I met with an unsettling sight. The street is deserted. No students. No cars. And even the cheerful chirping of the birds is gone. What? I hurry on forward, hoping to at least run into somebody. Anyone. Even the sun's once golden rays seemed muted. The world tinging in dreary tones. But there still isn't a cloud in the sky. Okay, this is definitely starting to freak me out. I need to just... A splitting pain shoots through my head, stopping me in my tracks. Like a searing poker being thrust through my skull. A headache? Now? Nothing is making any sense. Desperately trying to keep myself upright as I clench my hand to my head, I stagger forwards. Unlike the headaches from before that gradually died down, this one seems to be getting worse. Thump, thump, thump. It won't stop at all. I'm brought to my knees. I can hardly even think straight, my head threatening to explode at any moment. And then, through my gritted teeth and a pained expression, I see it. Something that shouldn't exist. Yet clearly does, as confirmed by my own terrified eyes. A monster. That's the only word that can come from my scrambled mind. A hulking, grotesque mass of flesh, with gnarled fangs and red, slitted eyes, seething with hate. The closest thing I can relate it to would be a dog, but no dog I know of is 3 times the size of me, its form practically eclipsing the sun. It snorts and with flared nostrils, something like steam being exhaled out. Given its tense stance, and the fact that it's blocking my way, I can only assume it's here for me. But why? What the hell is this? Where did it come from? Why does it want me? 1,000,001 questions race through my head, but I doubt I'm going to get any answers from this thing. There's only one thing I can do when presented with such odds, and that is to stand my ground or flee. Flee? Yeah, of course. I would be an idiot to attempt anything else. When confronted with something that defies everything I know about nature, and has a look that says, I'm going to eat you, it's basic human instinct to want to run. Not giving the beast any more of my time, I spin my head and hurtle myself in the opposite direction. My fatigue I might have felt earlier is magically gone, as I pump my legs frantically. It's amazing what fear can do to pep up your senses. I run as fast as I can, but in my haste I twist my foot at a bad angle, crumbling into a heap on the floor. Oh, of course! Of course that happens! Of course, in any scary movie, that always happens. Ignoring the nasty scrapes across my knees, I desperately try to heave myself up off the floor, but it's useless. I'm a complete wreck. I can hear the beast rampaging behind me, just behind me, having given chase. The fear of impending death is making my limbs useless, my scattered mind unable to give them any clear commands. The only thing I can do is turn my head around to meet my incoming demise. The beast stomping so hard across the ground that cracks spread out with each step. It's over. Right before the beast can connect with me and bring my life to a grisly end, a dazzling radiant light floods my vision, engulfing both me and the monster. The beast stops in its tracks, a guttural cry escaping it before it vaporizes before my eyes. What? What the hell just happened? A cheerful voice chirps. A welcome sound after the terrors of that thing. And then another voice that's less cheerful. In fact, they sound angry more than anything. The light soon fades, revealing my saviors. Though, this is definitely the last thing I was expecting. Two girls roughly my age stand before me. I blinked several times before I scrubbed my eyes, hoping things might make a little more sense. This can't be real. I'm having more trouble believing these girls are actually standing before me than I did the monster. Wielding weapons and costumes that taken straight out of the fantasy book. It's all a bit much for my brain to attempt to process. What the heck was that? The more cheerful of the two simply says to me, her stance relaxing some. Huh? Was that supposed to explain everything? I glance down at my feet, where my own shadow stretches, but the girl bursts into a giggle. No, I'm fine, but... I'm cut short by the more aggressive looking of the pair, whose expression has grown darker and darker as the cheerful one had spoke. Looking like she's unable to take it anymore, she exploded, causing both of us to jump. Her eyes narrow into a frightening glare. It's clear she isn't happy. But I don't think she has anything to counter that. The upbeat girl brings her attention back to me, a sparkle in her eye. Huh? We were... Wait, how do you know my name? Okay. She puts a hand to her mouth as if she was trying to take back the words. The questions continue to pile up, and I still haven't gotten to any answers. Whap! The serious one wraps her fist in against the other's head, who sticks out her tongue in a sort of tee-hee, my bad kind of way. So you guys know me? I've never seen them in my life. And given how they look, I definitely think I would remember them. Me? What the heck did I ever do to get so much attention? As far as I know, I'm just an average student who lives an average life, doing average things. Though after this, I guess I really can't call my life average anymore.
これはトップシークレットだから詳しくは言えないんだけど、あなたが悪人の手に落ちるのは良くないんだよね。あなたの安全をどれだけ私たちが守ってるか信じられないと思うけどね。正直なところ、あなたに会えてほっとしてるの。だから感謝してね。
She beams at me, leaning in perhaps just a little bit too close. She's throwing so much at me here, I can hardly think straight. Just who the heck are you guys? She falls into deep thought, her nose scrunching up. I guess she's choosing her words carefully as to avoid another brutal assault from her partner. Saying that, she gives a bow and her bow a flourish, and it shatters between her fingers. Moments later, the shattered pieces of the bow begin to gather behind her, the shards piercing back together rapidly until finally they form a pair of wings on her back. The wings, while not strictly attached to her, at least seem to function as they sway in the breeze and give off a glimmer every now and again. What? Wait, are they literally angels? Let me get this straight. To start from the beginning, that thing that attacked me, that monster you call those shadows. And these shadows have supposedly been hunting me for a while now. Because apparently if they catch me, it'll be bad for unspecified reasons. And you guys, whoever you are, have been combating them from the shadows to keep me safe from harm. She nods enthusiastically. It looks like I've just about got a grip on what this whole thing is, even if it was a little sparse on details. Knowing this, it brings me to the conclusion that... Oh gosh! I have no choice but to believe them, or these girls have lost it. I have to believe them. As crazy as this all sounds, I really can't deny the evidence before me. For me, I would just be like, I've seen this with my own eyes. I believe you guys. That monster was definitely real, and I have no reason to doubt these girls who destroyed that thing right before my eyes. Okay, so what happens now? Somehow I don't like the sound of that, or what it might imply, at all. She gives me a wink and a wave before taking off in the other direction. Her less enthusiastic partner simply turns her head from me and with one last humph before following after her. I'm soon left completely alone within the street, where just moments ago my whole world has spun on its head. Did all of that just happen? Ah, jeez. All of this will have to wait for later, though. Right now, I have to be focused on the bigger issue. I'm being late for school. I break into a sprint as I try to make up for lost time, all the while hoping that I'll never run into those two again. And this is where I'm going to stop. Save! Yay! So, Next time we'll be going into school and hopefully seeing where all the people are actually doing. Return to the main menu? Yes. So, this has been Psychic Pictures, and I'll see you guys next time.